Good morning. I'm excited about our art project today. I'm calling it color mixing with Murano glass. So Murano glass is a glassware that's blown near Venice, Italy on an island called Murano. And it's widely known for its beautiful colors and different styles. It's a very old name in glass, and it's still being made to this day. So there's all different kinds of colors that you can make when you blow glass, and all different styles you can make. So I selected a bunch of different styles of vases, and I'm going to show you an example of Murano glass and then an example of all different vase sizes so you guys can see. So as you saw from the example, the Murano glass has these beautiful colors. It's very shiny, glass is transparent, and then the vase sizes can be anything that you imagine or want to. You're welcome to reference that picture again. So what we're going to do is we're going to overlap all of our vases. And as you saw in the picture, when you overlap in glass, and because it's transparent and the light is coming through, your colors are going to overlap. So we're going to focus on some color mixing. So as you can see, my vases are three primary colors. So yellow, red, blue, yellow, red, blue, yellow, red. And then where they overlap, where the glass is transparent so you can see both vases at once, we're going to create the colors that they make. So blue and red are going to make purple, blue and yellow are going to make green, and then yellow and red are going to make orange. So first we will draw our glass vases. I'll draw a couple normally, and then I'm going to time lapse the rest just because drawing the glassware does take a little bit of time. I've got a longer sheet of paper just because I wanted to make, we're essentially going to make a shelf full of different vases, and I wanted room to put a lot of vases, but it's up to you how big you want your paper to be and how you want to organize your glassware. It's just important that it overlaps. So what you could do is start with your shelf that it's sitting on, which is just going to be a line. Oh, I forgot that. I'll have to push down kind of hard. So I definitely used a pencil to start just because I wanted to be able to erase. It's a little bit challenging. You want to get, you know, the bottom correctly, and then the sides should be symmetrical, right, which means the same on both sides for the most part, unless you pick a vase that's asymmetrical, which means it's not the same on both sides. So what I did was I normally started with the bottom, and then I added the sides, and then I did the top, so I can show you how I did that. Notice also I have like my shelf continues outside of my pictures, so I have half a vase here and half a vase here, so I'll include that as well. So I'm going to start on the far left, and I'm just going to make half of an opening to my vase, and then I'm going to come down. Oops, I didn't do it, I just said. Okay, so here's my first vase that's kind of coming off the paper. And then when glass makers blow glass, they can put all sorts of designs into it. So I might add just some fun, very simple designs. Our big focus here is going to be the color mixing. And then the next step, oops, this should actually touch the bottom of my paper. Okay. So the next piece we want to make sure overlaps this one. So the bottom of it should come pretty close. And it doesn't have to overlap a ton. Like you'll notice I have some that overlap quite a bit versus I only have this little corner. So however it overlaps is totally fine. So I'm going to do the bottom, go up to do the sides. And then I can kind of make this top have like a wider mouth and then come thinner. And then I can come up with a simple design. Maybe this one just has some stripes. So again, I'm just doing a very simple design on each vase just to make it more eye-catching, but you know, like I said, it could be very, very simple. So I'm gonna time lapse the rest to make sure the video doesn't go too long. And then once I'm done with pencil, I'm also gonna Sharpie the whole thing. Okay, so I have all my vases drawn, and I have designs on each one. I made sure to overlap them. So my next step is going to be to watercolor paint each vase. And again, I'm gonna make this pattern of my 3 primary colors. So yellow, red, blue, yellow, red, blue, yellow, red. I'm not going to use any secondary colors, which would be orange, purple, or green. So it's important that we paint the vases, and you don't have to do it in this pattern, but you have to stick with the 3 primary colors. So your vases, not the part where they overlap, but the actual vase, should be either blue, yellow, or red each time. And you can make a pattern or you can make it random, whatever works for you. And then I'm sorry I didn't say this in the beginning, that you don't have to Sharpie your drawing. It could be in pencil. You could also use crayon or oil pastel, and that would actually trap the watercolor inside your each vase. So you don't even need a Sharpie. And then if you don't have paint or watercolor paint, you can just color them, and then you know, if you know that yellow and red would make orange, you could just, with a crayon colored pencil marker, whatever, make yellow, red, and then the overlapping part would be orange. So it's really open-ended. I'm sorry I didn't say that in the beginning. I think having paint and being able to mix it right on your paper is fun, but work with whatever you have. So I'm going to start with yellow. And then I probably will do a time lapse of the rest, but I just wanted to remind you. So I'm just painting this vase yellow for now. And because watercolor kind of runs and blends really quickly, I'm gonna avoid painting places that touch. So I'm not gonna do this part right now, even though I know what color it would be. I'm gonna just skip to here. So I'm going to go to red. And I know on a watercolor palette, the red almost looks a little pink. That's okay. So red, blue, and yellow are called primary colors, and I know a lot of you know this, but maybe some of you don't, because they can't be made by mixing other colors. So artists, you will start with those 3 colors, and then if those are the only 3 colors you have, you're in luck because you could make the other ones that you need. So I'm just carefully painting so I can stay in the lines. And again, I'm not painting the part where the vases overlap just yet. And then if your color is kind of light, you can just re-dip into, if you're using watercolor, just re-dip into that paint palette color without going back into the water, and that's going to give you a darker color. And the less water you have on your brush, which you don't want your brush to be unhappy and have a bad hair day, but the less you have, the kind of easier it is to control. When your brush is really soaking wet and like dripping, it's hard to control your paintbrush and where the paint goes. All right, so I'm going to finish up my vases on a time lapse, so I'll see you in a second. Okay, so all my vases are painted. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start, oh, that water's really dirty now. I'm going to start at this end because it's drier than this end. So watercolor, if you don't have a lot of puddles, should dry pretty quickly. So what we're gonna do this time is mix the two colors of each vase, because remember they're overlapping, and since glass is transparent, which means the light is flowing through it, you would end up seeing both colors. So you can either, if you know that red and yellow makes orange, you're welcome to paint it orange, or what is fun is to mix the two together. So I'm gonna start with yellow because yellow is so light, red will take over really quickly and easily. So I'm gonna paint this whole thing yellow, and then just a little bit of red is all I need. Oh, like that's a lot. And I can make orange. So I think it's fun to be able to mix the colors to see how they actually would look, and to practice what's called color theory, which is learning about you know, primary, secondary colors. So orange is our first secondary color, and that's from red and yellow. So then I can move to red and blue. So in this case, red is going to be the lighter color. And this is a really small section, so I don't need a lot of paint to begin with. I also don't need a lot of water because these areas are so small that if I do too much water, it might, you know, move and bleed into the vase. So I'm going to add a little bit of blue now to make purple, or as Mr. Bain would say correctly, violet. And that might have like a little too much blue. Very touchy when you mix the colors on your own. Okay, so there's my purple. So it's notably darker than if I were to just use purple off the palette, which I did for my example, but that's okay. It's fun to mix the colors and see what you get. So my next color is going to be green. So again, yellow would be the lighter color. Some blue on my brush still because it's already looking a little green. My water is also very dirty. Okay, then a tiny bit of blue. Remember, you don't need a lot. Maybe more than that. There we go. Oops. If you make a mistake like that, it is what it is. Not the end of the world. I made a big little mistake over there. Big little. I'm not very good with videoing. I wish I just had you all in my classroom again. I kind of just, I don't really like listening to myself. I feel like I ramble on. Okay, so there's my green. So I'll do the rest real quickly in a time lapse. Okay, so this is my finished Murano glass shelf. And remember, we're painting each vase with a primary color, which is red, or yellow, red, and blue. And then where they overlap, you're gonna mix the two so that you can discover the secondary colors, which are orange, purple, and green. So you guys are welcome to, I did a lot of vases, so I did 9, but right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yes. So I was able to do each color 3 times. If you want, you can start out with just 3 vases. You're welcome to do more. Totally up to you. And again, this is Murano glassware, which is, glass blowing is an amazing art technique if you ever get the opportunity to see. I know in our area, Corning Glass Museum is very cool. Maybe some of you have been there. And glass making is just a beautiful form of art, and I think it's fun to learn about. So I hope you enjoy this and have a good day. See you tomorrow.